one thing I really enjoy about you both is that number one, you guys share great information. And constantly, you could definitely see the camaraderie between you two. So I know that there's definitely a bond that actually increases everything that you guys do. And it takes it to a whole nother level. And that's extremely beautiful, man. That surpasses, the DJ camaraderie, the friendship. That's true brotherhood, you know. And that, brotherhood is one of the most beautifulest things that we could have. So most definitely on that. You constantly give shout outs to the DJs and man, much respect, much love to you guys for that. Um, and in terms of your schooling, and anytime I hear someone say that they're teaching kids, that just really excites me, man, because that lets me know that regardless to I don't know how you think about it, but think about it. This is how I think about what you're doing. Even through your teaching, you're basically leaving a legacy through your trainings, if you really think about it. Because like the DJ that you said started in 2016, and he then went on to be in the DMC, and you guys never met.
Wolsey from Australia, never met.
So that is just really amazing. You are touching people by what you do worldwide.
Well, that's what this art form truly is about, man. It's not about learning the 3-click flare or learning the offset backspin. It's not really about that. You know what I mean? That's the thing that Dr. Butcher helped me understand when I started training with him, that it wasn't about the specific techniques. That on the surface, that's what it's about. Like, you want to learn how to string together these movements, these scratch patterns, so that you could compete and get your name out there. But underneath that, at its core, you're growing and developing, and you're experiencing yourself go from this nobody novice that no one knows, and then gradually, like, you're developing yourself physically. You're starting to dominate the turntables more. You become disciplined. You start practicing more. You get in competitions. You meet people. You start building relationships. You start learning about life and establishing goals, accomplishing goals. Then you start learning about game planning, how to, like, establish yourself. It's this journey, man. And DJing is just a pathway to that. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
And that's why I feel I've had success with a lot of my students, because I've passed on these principles that were passed on to me by Dr. Butcher. You know what I mean? Like, my brother taught me how to DJ. Dr. Butcher taught me how to think as a DJ. And I teach my students how to DJ the way my brother taught me. I also teach my students how to think, like how to have faith in their own creativity, how to go about growing and going from not understanding how to beat juggle to becoming the champion of your country, the way Wolsey did in Australia. All through Skype, man. I never met that guy in person, but we just vibed together on Skype, and he's in the World 2020 DMC finals right now competing.
Wow.
So yeah, it's crazy, man. And Dr. Butcher planted the seed, man. You know what I mean? And now we get to see that seed grow into this amazing tree.
Well, that's a huge like credit to you guys' work and your dedication to the culture, and just being able to just connect with so many and have them gravitate to you, just as you gravitated to Dr. Butcher, and you got students that's gravitating to you, and you got people on this right now on this panel here who are gravitating to you through what you're saying, learning and just bringing out the history of where you guys were and what you guys were doing and the projects that you're doing. And here you are 30 years later, still doing your thing and doing it strong. You know what I mean? And that is a blessing. That's a huge blessing, because you got a lot that started way back then. It took them some time, or they dropped off, or whatever it may be. So for you to continue to go strong and be powerful with it, and then be able to have the influence, is just major, just really major. And that goes to both of you. So salute to both of you all.
Thank you, fam.
Yes, indeed. So the thing, before we get into the music, the thing that I always like to ask this question, and I ask this question for a purpose of what it is our next task. So I ask this: what homework do you have for us?
Keep the culture alive. We reach out to young and old DJs. I mean, as much as guys are reaching out to the veterans, I think the new breed is just as important because they're carrying a torch. So I think it's very important to keep everyone together, or else it would die, people will separate, and the culture will fade away.
Well said. And also, I would say, like, figure out a way. I know that all of us feel like sometimes, you're in this rat race, and like you got to be the first to do this, and you want your videos to get more likes than this person, and like you're like competing for attention and all that. But also, like, understand that there's enough in the well for everybody, man, to like drink. You know what I'm saying? And so my point is, like, obviously you want to look out for yourself, but show other DJs love, support each other. Try not to make this about your ego. You know what I mean? And I think when you approach this art form that way, opportunities just open up even more, man. Like, when you're a source of good energy, then more good energy flows through you in the form of opportunities, in the form of money, in the form of exposure. You know what I'm saying? And I think that because I've tried my best to live my journey like that, I've been able to still stand, you know what I mean, amongst all the DJs that have come and gone in this art form throughout the years. So yeah, that's for me the homework I'd impart on you guys.
Well, this is really, really much appreciated. I know DJ I-95, he got in contact with you guys, brought you guys, and I'm glad you guys really accepted, because this is really meaningful for us, to really learn and to really dig into you guys, and you guys share what you've shared. And I always say there's this timeline that we're all, the history is on, and you guys definitely plug in part of that information in that timeline, as we continue to tap into the history. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for that.